YouTube.
I already have some alcohol in the system.
Oh,
Just to let you know.
oh,
We've had a long day of recording because we have some pre-records that we're
Oh.
dropping on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, y'all.
shout out to my cousin on the chat. All right, go ahead.
Who we got here? Who's on the chat?
My cousin Twitch.
All right, what up? What up? What
My
up?
cousin Vic in the house. What up? What
Vic,
up? We are
Vic.
actually live right now. We got to start putting this stuff on his Discord. I keep forgetting, man. But yeah, and I got to work that strategy. We've been focusing on this YouTube, but we got to work on that strategy. So for
what?
Twitch.
The Twitch?
Yeah.
Are we blowing it on Twitch?
I think we got to be a little more intentional with the strategy there. Yeah. But it's all good. One step at a time. Never too late. We growing slowly but surely. So, you know.
Felicia, hello. How are you? Long time no see.
Welcome, Felicia. Long time no see. Hope you enjoyed today.
We are here. Got some background music here in the what are you sipping on today?
I got iced coffee.
Iced coffee, nice. Is it that simple today? Because I'm never sure with you.
I'm wondering if I put anything that I'm not aware of, but I think we kept it simple today.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we kept it.
I just got a little bit of white.
See how I question myself?
And some punch here. I got a mixture.
Oh, you starting early? Okay, no drinks for me today, but
I've been drinking since our second shoot today.
Oh, he's not playing. This man's not playing.
Yeah, I've been up since what was that first text I sent? Like 4 a.m?
Yeah.
I've been up since 4 a.m.
Yeah, we've been recording today. Pre-records for the holiday, by the way, people. So get ready.
We have been grinding. We have been grinding because we want to keep giving y'all the people.
Content. It's all about
we do this for the people.
Content is king. That's
right. All right. So what do we got? Oh, and what am I doing here? Hello and I'm Macho, that's Savory, and you're watching us on Nobody TV. Welcome. What do we got today, Savory?
Let's get straight to this, man. Look. We spoke about Kyle Rittenhouse. We got a case that many people are not speaking about, but if you heard of it, It's Andrew Coffee. And we also got some shenanigans today in Wisconsin. Back again, Christmas Day parade, people being plowed. That's our 3 main points today, but you know the deal. We break it down with mind your business, nobody versus the experts, and sip on some facts. Before we get into it, man, show them that screen, man. So they
That is right. That is us. That is us, and that's where we like to do. Those are the breakdowns. Mind your business.
Every day we get creative with it. We got the mind your business, nobody versus the experts, sip on facts, and we engage with y'all every day. So again, thank you everybody for joining because we are enjoying this, man.
That's right.
Let's get to this.
All right. So the first video clip of the day for the Mind Your Business segment goes to no other than Joy Reid and Company. So let's check her out. That's a fact. I can't stand this woman.
Oh, you showed your cards. All right.
Yeah, that's right. That's trash.
Right away.
That's trash. And here's the panel after the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. Let's hear what these experts have to say.
First thought when you heard the verdict that Rittenhouse was going to get free?
Well, I want to first thank you for holding down the fort tonight. I was actually on a flight because, as you know, I took today off. I was on a plane. I was watching it on the flight. I was not at all surprised. We've talked about this. I mean, this is what we expected to happen because I think we have to keep in mind when we're watching the criminal justice system at work that it was designed to do exactly what it did today. Gun laws helped to enhance the design.
Could design to do what exactly?
Like to do what? To keep black people down? I thought we got Andrew.
This is why it drinks. This is why it drinks with a nobody. We don't want to keep you down. We want to reveal to you the stupidity of what these people are trying to do. They keep you down at the oppression of the minds. Period.
Slang, I know what the media is saying. Go ahead. That's
right.
See what she says.
To allow this verdict to happen today. This country was built on the idea that white men had a particular kind of freedom and a particular kind of citizenship that only they have.
Says what? Your millions?
Yeah.
Says what? Your bank account? Like who are they talking for? Like
only in this country can you be the most oppressed person, but also be part of that 1%, and also have so much money that you can't. Like it's crazy. Like the contradictions in this country are wild sometimes. But hey,
I was watching the verdict on the flight. I was eating my my main course meal.
Yeah, I had that first class ticket. I couldn't really. Well, anyways, go ahead.
That gives from the slave catchers on.
Oh my God!
To inflict violence. In the name of protecting property.
That's God.
The foundational creation of the United States. So it would have been shocking. I'm glad you mentioned the Derek Chauvin verdict. That was the surprising verdict. This should have been unsurprising. But what I do think we have to think about is not only the families of the 2 men who died and the family of Mr. Grosskreutz. They should be in our minds right now because they suffered. And there have been a lot of white people who have defended Black lives.
Wait, we have white oppression now all of a sudden? Is that what we're going to too? Because they're defending Black Lives Matter. They also are oppressed too now?
Kyle Rittenhouse had a whole interview, by the way, on Black Lives Matter and his thought on it. So it's just, anyways, but
that's irrelevant, Savory. That's irrelevant. What I'm saying.
But again, these people are crazy.
And paid for it with their lives. That goes all throughout our history, going back to John Brown. You go through the Civil Rights Movement. But what I am concerned about is the precedent this sets for what people will believe that they can do under law when Black Lives Matter protests happen in the future, and that people may use this as
get rid of BLM.
Going out of state,
get rid of them.
Doing what this teenager did, believing that they'll get away with it, and in some cases getting away with it.
Did you Joy? Excuse me, Joy. Joy. Did you watch a second?
She didn't.
An hour, 10 minutes of closing arguments.
No.
Did you watch any like
She
what
has
did you?
assistants. She has assistants for
Why
that.
these people mention no specifics, which is my always critique when we speak about systemic racism, and you get to specifics, people shy away from it because you want to speak in a theoretical way. Always talk to me. What are you
Abstract,
talking
yeah.
about?
What about my boy Al Sharpton here? Money man Al
Oh, my man,
Sharpton.
Al is in the building.
Yeah, money man. Money
Oh,
bag. They call him
money
money
bag Al.
talks. Yeah, money talks.
Point, Joy. Paul, that's the first thing that occurred to me.
See what money bag Al
the
says.
first thing that occurred to me after this ruling is, oh, well, okay, now it's just open season. Like if I'm walking around and I'm a white nationalist, coward little kid, when they are
Here we go. Here we go again. Here we
That's
go
why
again.
this is why he's getting so much
Who
money.
is the white
This is all going to
nationalist?
be used in the civil case. This is going to be used in the civil case, and this looks great. If I'm Kyle,
That's
I would be
trash. That's
celebrating.
trash.
This looks great for Kyle. You can't just call him that because you want to feed into your narrative. Now, MSNBC gets sued, CNN gets sued. That's a
They
certain. I
will.
don't know
They
what
will
other-
get sued, and they will lose a lot of money. On God, facts. Oh God, yeah. But yeah, I would also add Jeffrey on God too. Like
Oh,
they
God.
are about to pay cha-ching, cha-ching every time they call this man a
God.
white nationalist,
Yeah,
white
keep going.
supremacist, throwing up the white supremacist symbol, which I'm about to throw mine up right now. White supremacist, baby.
Yo, chill.
That does not mean white supremacists. What the hell's wrong with these
and I
people?
see somebody drive by with a Black Lives Matter bumper sticker.
Yo, these
feel
people,
threatened. I can
you know
open-
how deranged these people are, say? Check how deranged they are. You will never know what gangs are doing. I don't know the gang symbols. I don't know what those mean because I'm not a part of it. So how is it that we could easily say to everybody, this means white supremacy? Are you in the gang? Do you know?
That's why
Because they don't divulge that information. They are together, bro. Like they are more organized, these politicians, than these police officers. They are way more organized. No, the Aryan Brotherhood, all those guys, even Bloods and the Crips. Everybody's
I want to know who
yeah.
the white nationalists are. Just curious, because like where they are now. I'm just curious, because I know they're out there. They always keep talking about them, but again, everybody's won when they disagree with this narrative.
That's true.
So we got a comment here, interesting comment. The case was live on social media, so that it gets all
the attention.
Now that's open doors to new laws to benefit gun laws. Well,
I mean, here's the thing. It doesn't benefit gun laws. It affirms them. You have the right to bear arms in this country. Don't forget about that. Go ahead. New York has the strictest gun laws in America.
Yeah.
Next to Chicago. And you see their gun crimes there, right? But other than that, everywhere else you have a lot of open carry, concealed carry. You can do all those things. Why? Because these states take it serious about citizens having the right to bear arms. The Second Amendment, folks. It's very simple. This is not limited by race, by color. Like I said, in the Wisconsin incident in Kenosha, there were black people carrying. Did you hear any black person get arrested for carrying? No, because there is no law against carrying in the state of Wisconsin. You can carry. So this is a lot of this stuff is unbelievable what the media gets away with here.
What does Al say?
If I go by a youth group standing outside the local Target and they're chanting Black Lives Matter and I feel threatened, I can open fire. Paul, is the today really a precedent?
I'm sorry, you're never going to finish this podcast.
Is this the kind of thing that was always going to end up happening and we shouldn't see this as a real watershed moment?
It's not a formal legal precedent, Jason, but make no mistake, Rittenhouse will be the poster child for reactionary white men who want to take the law in their own hands.
Here we go. Hold on a second. I wanted to see this man's credentials. He's a former federal prosecutor. This is what pisses me off and why we're so divided. Because people parade their credentials around thinking that we're stupid and we're going to listen to you because, oh, yeah, you're a lawyer. Oh, yeah, they have bad intentions, folks. Everybody does in any profession. And they're going to use their credentials to wield them over you and just wield it over your idiotocracy. They're going to say, you're an idiot. You don't know any better, but I do, and I can speak for you. But then when they hear me, people on my Facebook, people I grew up with, you don't speak for black and brown people. So then why the hell are you listening to other black and brown people then for? For what? This has nothing to do with skin, race, or anything. You just don't think I'm qualified to talk about this. That's fine.
Yeah.
But again, you have qualified people, former police officers, current police officers contradicting each other, saying this will raise trust. No, it raises distrust. It makes me hate you guys even more. How about that? Did you guys think about that?
Remember, it's also dangerous to have an argument based on the person from what they call that kind of argument is called from position of authority, which means like, oh, if you're not a doctor, you can't speak about anything that has to do. If you're not a lawyer, if you're not, that actually goes against actual freedom, So
check with Jeffrey. See, Jeffrey, you got too much common sense, and this is why you gotta be careful out there.
Everything was by the book, open carry, everything leading up to those people's death, and he's still a white supremacist. That's how it works, man.
And this is what I said in our last. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
He was a white supremacist before the court case started, which is why he's suing the media. Let's get this straight. So whoever wants to defend this, go ahead, do your Joy Reader. But all I'm saying is he was a white supremacist before anyone knew the facts. I would say that to the other side, right? If they're calling, I criticize the people calling him a hero too, because what are you coming to these conclusions? This is just a W for the Second Amendment, and don't mess with other people have a gun. Like literally, if you saw the case, it's hard to.
You're chasing after somebody with a gun for.
Like,
and again, we're like Savory said, we don't see him as a hero. Who cares? I don't care. He put himself in this situation. At the end of the day, this just affirms the Second Amendment, like you said. And again, even if he was a white supremacist, even if he was wearing a cloak, he still has a right to an attorney. He still has a right to a trial. And you still have to say, was he provoked or was he provoking for this incident to happen? You still have to go through the letter of the law, because even gang members are protected by their First Amendment rights. Even gang members are protected by a defense attorney. And guess what? Did you guys remember the Little Dirk incident with King Von, literally on camera shooting someone and walked? Because why? Oh, the camera picture, it wasn't too clear to distinguish. Was those people really? Did they forget that Lil Durk was sitting in the courtroom with the same color hair that was on the camera? He still walked. Guys, the black males are just as protected under the law as white males. White supremacists. It doesn't matter. Black supremacists. Doesn't matter. Let's see what else we got here.
To Black Lives Matter's protests, and who think that violence is a legitimate form of political discourse. In the eyes of the law, Rittenhouse is now actually the victim of the 3 men who he shot, even though the evidence suggests that Rittenhouse went to Kenosha spoiling for a fight. That's why
what a manipulative. He's a manipulative piece of crap.
I don't get it, bro. Why would you say that, though?
The verdict doesn't.
He is a scumbag. These are the scumbags that you have to avoid.
But I can't finish this video because this is the panel. If each person in this,
he knows the law. He can't avoid it. He knows the law.
Position of authority we have here. Yeah. We have the Dr. Fauci of criminal justice. We have the Don Lemon of the CNN, where we have all these figures representing a certain expertise, but they're completely lying to their narrative. That's it. I won't say that.
And he's dangerous. Again, he might be still a practicing attorney, so there are ethics violations he has to be mindful of to the Bar Association. So if he blatantly lies about law to us citizens, he could be subject to some kind of punitive punishment in the Bar Association. Again, he has to be very careful what he says. That's why he's using it and manipulating the law. He's smart. He's crafty. He's cunning, and you got to be careful with scumbags like this.
Does it mean that the jurors bought this Boy Scout image of Rittenhouse at the
Boy Scout?
Presented? It just means that they had reasonable doubt, that they weren't 95% certain. But Jason, I can't imagine they're happy about an immature and reckless 17-year-old bringing a semi-assault rifle to patrol their streets. And I agree with Joy.
We're almost there to my man, Money Man Al.
That other people who wanted to...
Why Derek Chauvin was convicted is because you had just massive...
Introducing new targeted benefits from Central.
They did me dirty, Savory.
Be the best treat you can be and handle client calls.
We got an ad in the middle of it.
At the same time. Whatever life brings, now there's a Centrum for that.
It's all good. We live, man. Play
multicultural protest about George Floyd. The issue that I think a lot of people have, especially my students and young people I know who aren't
My
actively involved in
students.
politics, is they're like, well, darn. It took
Whoever's a student of this guy, run, please. We don't need any more indoctrinated kids here.
years worth of protest to get one cop convicted, but now we're right back to what we had before, whether it's a Ahmaud Arbery being killed by 3 random white men, or what is the activist response when there's a ruling like this? Because I can't imagine that a lot of people don't feel despondent about years worth of protests about this kind of violence and people still getting off for essentially murder.
What you must also factor in
God.
is that even when the George Floyd murder happened, it has now come out that some of the violence in Minneapolis was done by right-wingers who pretended to be burning down places in Minneapolis.
You know why he could get away with this lie, Savory? You know why he could get away with that lie? Because those white-skinned Anglos who were dressed all in black with helmets, do you know what party? Do you know who they were affiliated with? They're called Antifa. You know who Antifa works closely with? BLM. So he could say whoever they are, because again, these white Anglos, yeah, they're far right wingers.
Yeah, I said enough about these fools right here. Now I'll shock them. I'm not gonna say nothing. I got nothing to say because this guy is.
Oh, that is a wow. I'm gonna assume that's a compliment. Do you need to pay for your YouTube membership? Oh no, actually no. Do we need to?
No, for our membership. What are you saying? But anyways, keep playing.
Yeah. Right. This is almost
they were
over.
Part of the movement, and they were not, which means that now we can see people baiting violence to have a reaction to justify doing what Rittenhouse got away with today. This is a very, very serious problem for activism, because now we're being told that someone can cross state lines with a semi-automatic rifle and kill people.
He didn't do it.
And say
He can cross state lines. Okay, trash.
This case to cite as saying that I'm like Rittenhouse.
This case to cite. This case to cite.
I'm done.
I want to hear what my man with the Q-tip hair over here is
totally
saying.
done right now.
And the thing I tell my students that,
Let's see what
an internship is being a good person, a moral citizen.
King
Apparently, you just have to go out and murder people who you disagree with. Ellie, part of this, and you tweeting about this sort of consistently, I sometimes feel like you were actually in the courtroom. Part of what the national story is from Kenosha is the degree of empathy that
Jeff, you understand exactly what you just said there, Jeff, is exactly what me and Savory feel when we watch this. It makes us cringe.
To our communities directly, right? This is why,
because these people they lie to black and brown people who are poor in the hood, who don't have an adequate education. They lie through their teeth. They don't want you to be where they are because it keeps them employed. They're called race hustlers for a reason.
Look, my guy said anyone can cross over state line and shoot people. Jeffrey, I'm assuming you saw the trial because he did not cross state lines. His friend bought him the gun. These details to the trial that
his father gave him the gun.
So
his father gave him the AR.
African Americans had for these victims. I think in contrast to how many white Americans are sometimes ambivalent or trying to explain what happened to George Floyd or what happened to Walter Scott. Why do you think that is? Why do you think this case, even though the victims are white, why do you think it resonates so much with African Americans and why so many people are so passionate? And
we want justice to be done. This person came outside of his community, armed himself with a legal weapon, and shot 2 people in the street. People during a protest
he shot 3 people.
For police
That's okay.
brutality. Yes, we care. It doesn't matter that the victims were white, not to black people. It doesn't matter that the victims were white. It matters that justice was not done. And that is something that honestly I do not understand why.
Okay. Listen,
justice was not done because his man is not in jail. Yeah, I had enough.
They thirst for blood. That's what these race hustlers want. They thirst for blood. That's how they make money. That's what keeps them on these screens. So let me play that graphic there. Yeah, I know there's a slight lag. Let me play that graphic there. All right. Do you vote in
I
favor, yay or nay, to this panel? Mind your business.
I can unanimously slay every single person in that panel. Should just mind their business. It's just they all have the same narrative. They all want to push the same idea down your throat, and they all want to make it seem like this case is about race, BLM, and what he's talking about now. It's open season for people to do this in protest. Come on, you know that's not the truth. It bothers me more, even seeing it now again. You showed me a clip of it. It just bothers me because I'm like, who's the number one group being manipulated? It's us.
All right, we already have another vote. Mind your business from Julie. Who else? Who else votes in favor of mind your business to this panel? I will also make my motion to mind your business on this one because again, what are you talking about? There are minorities who are smart enough to see past this bullshit rhetoric. I mean, this is ridiculous. You guys are, like you said, it's like they're reading off a script. All right, this is what we're gonna say. Keep them angry. You know, like this is ridiculous. You're not helping the community. You're not helping them. You're not educating them. You're lying to them, and you're using your credentials. It's just like an abuse of power. This is mind your business. There you go. There we go. We got another one. That's 4 mind your business here. Anyone that doesn't agree, I'm curious.
If you think this is their business, say it too. That's cool. We're just curious to know why. But if you think that's their business, again, if you missed it, you just joined our YouTube. Welcome. I see a few people came in. Welcome, welcome. We just played a panel. We played a clip that they broke down the Kyle Rittenhouse case, and we usually do a vote.
What up?
Should you mind your business or should they not? So if you missed the vote, no worries. We still got a lot of content here.
I don't know, like what's it called again? It's like an abuse of authority. Like if you're a police officer and you give someone certain liberties based off your relationship with them, that could be a conflict of interest. It could be fraternizing. It could be a whole bunch of things. I say mind your business. Oh, we got another one. We got another one.
Should we just mind your business? Let's start a petition and fire everybody in that media panel.
Julie, he is a sociopath. Again, I honestly don't know what the exact definition of sociopath is, but whether he is or he isn't, I'm not saying I agree or disagree. What I'm saying is like, yeah, I think she's talking about Kyle. I don't think it really is relevant to this case because whether he's a sociopath or not, I think maybe because she's saying that because he felt the burden to be there.
If he's really a sociopath, I think it'll have some relevance in the case, and I think the prosecution would have brought that up if there was a history of that. But that's people's opinion. It's fine. I personally don't think that was the case when I saw him speak in the stand and take his take. But I can see why you think if you think it was an intentional thing, you can think that, right? So it just depends.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We spent quite a bit of time on mind your business, but we have a really hot topic that contradicts. I want you guys to remember exactly what they said, every word of it, and we're gonna bring up another one for you that's gonna surprise the heck out of you. All right, let's roll that film right there.
That's our next segment right here. What we got here? Go ahead.
A Treasure Coast man accused and charged with shooting at deputies during an early morning drug raid in his home back in 2017.
What happened?
I don't know how long they'll stay in that screen, but this will be a quick time to give people who don't know are just catching up. But
okay, go for it.
Just really quick, just in case they start talking and people get lost. But Andrew Coffey is on murder trial. He was acquitted of all charges, from what I understand so far, right?
Except for the possession of a firearm.
Yeah, except for the possession of a firearm. And again, there's nuances on the Kyle Rittenhouse case, but that's a whole different story. But again, this type of case happens often. When I say often, in proportion to the people on trial, right? The blacks, Hispanics, whites. The law usually works as intended, but every state has a different set of laws. This man, 24 hours later after the Kyle Rittenhouse, was found not guilty in almost all his charges except for the possession of the firearm. And let's take a look at what he did here.
Which he's a free man right now because it's time served. He was already in jail while this trial was commencing. So he's free. He's going to walk free. That's it. He's done. Time served.
Was found not guilty of murder and attempted murder, but was found guilty of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. After a trial spanning multiple weeks, the jury reached their verdicts this afternoon in the trial of Andrew Coffey IV. Our Steve King joins us from Indian River County with reaction from both sides.
And this is in Florida, Indian River, Florida. And in most states, I don't know if we didn't get a chance to look this up, but in most states, if not the whole country, you cannot possess a firearm if you're a felon, right? So, I mean...
Yeah, I don't know if it's most, but I know many places are like that, yeah.
Many states. So Florida apparently is one of those states that you cannot be in possession of a firearm after being convicted of a felony.
Andrew Coffey's family and friends looked relieved when they found out he was not going to be spending the rest of his life in prison, but they looked shocked when they found out he could serve up to 30 years in prison after being convicted of possession of a firearm.
Oh, 30 years, okay.
We, the jury, find Andrew Jeff Coffey IV as to count 4, attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer, Pat White, not guilty.
Coffey was also found not guilty of killing his girlfriend, Alteria Woods, who was killed in the crossfire after police say Coffey shot at Indian River County Sheriff's deputies during an early morning drug raid in 2017. Coffey's defense attorneys reacting to the verdict.
I'm exceptionally happy with the jury's verdict, and they applied the law properly, and they came back with verdicts that were just, that he was in a self-defense mode, that he was protecting himself, and that he did not know that these were officers outside. So I think he's vindicated from that standpoint.
No matter what, he's never going to recover his girlfriend, and that's an emotional punishment that he will suffer the rest of his life.
The sheriff says in part, quote,
so he can face up to 30 years of for possessing the firearm. I thought it wasn't as aggressive as a law as in New York. Because New York, if you're not legally able to obtain, I'm not sure. They're probably going to get into the details here about it. Maybe as up to. It's up to, and then maybe they have a certain time frame. But in New York, if you're in possession of a firearm illegally, you have up to a year to serve. But you have you can serve a minimum of like 7 months, 6 months.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's disappointing that this jury did not see that the tragic death of Alteria Woods occurred as a direct result of the actions of Andrew Coffey IV. Our hearts go out to Woods' family as they still suffer from loss of their daughter, but we stand by our statement that she would still be here had Coffey simply complied with law enforcement.
Guilty of possession of a firearm by convicted felon as charged in the indictment.
But Coffey could serve up to 30 years for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Coffey's sentencing is set for January.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So that means
he has a prior.
He can personally face up to 30 years because of his prior. That felony must have been multiple and serious, because when you can face that, that's why it didn't sound right. That makes sense, though. That's how the law works, though. So.
But again, he was defending himself. And it seems like these states take self-defense very seriously. Mm-hmm. Florida, Wisconsin, and other states around the country take self-defense very seriously, right? But why wasn't this played during this trial? Why wasn't this shown? Is it purely because he's black? Is it because he's black?
I got something interesting right here that I was reading, right? It is interesting that there are no cries of injustice, systemic racism, or a weighted judicial system on the Andrew Coffey IV trial. In fact, it didn't even hit the national press. Mainly because it did not fit their chosen narrative of gun control and dangerous white men with guns.
That's right.
And let me read these deeds. So you see that and
A$AP Ferg was saying in his music, that's right.
That's right. But the same trial by jury system, right? And the same gun freedoms and gun laws were upheld the rights of two young men, one white, the other black, to defend himself. The same American court system in different states affirmed those rights for both men. It is absolutely insane, not to mention disingenuous to cry that the system worked for one person because of their race, but didn't work for another in spite of theirs. So again,
exactly.
I read that to show people the narratives. I'm not saying everyone does this, but when it comes to the national press, they are putting in front of us the cases that are aligned with the narrative of systemic racism, justice in our system,
or whatever their interest is.
Yeah, whatever it might be.
Whatever their interest is. They want to do a assault weapons ban, which they did in the crime bill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what assault weapon is there. I don't know what they're describing there. Or they want to ban weapons entirely. They're going to use this to wield for their own agenda, their own self-interest. They want to use this as a precedent case against the NRA that has been suing up to the Supreme Court about not infringing on people's Second Amendment rights. You know, I don't know if you know this, Savory. In New York, they're saying that some of the laws that they passed on the gun laws in New York were too restrictive according to the Constitution. So they're hearing cases, they're deliberating on cases right now in the state of New York, whether that maybe they might have passed laws or agreed to laws that were egregious to the Constitution, contradicts it. So we'll see. In terms of attaining a firearm, there is nothing in the Constitution that says you need a license to obtain a firearm. There's nothing that says that. So that's what they're arguing right now in
That's
court.
bureaucrats there. When you hear the word license and it's almost like when people try to open up a business and they have to go through a list of license. That's not really what free market is, right? You should be able to open your own fruit stand wherever, whenever you want. Unfortunately, that's true free market, you know. So,
and Walter Williams talked a lot about this, saying that we don't need all these layers to become a cab driver. Now he said back in the day when he was a cab driver, it took nothing. You got a car, you put yourself as a taxi. Now you have so many layers to become a taxi. He says it takes almost $1 million just to get a medallion.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So I know a little about that because my brother-in-law. So the medallion, by the way, when Uber came out, there was people who just bought the medallion. So they were out of business with the yellow cabs. They weren't doing as well. A few years later, they're in debt. But look up how the medallion started. It wasn't the private institutions. It was they had to come because we have fees, people selling their medallions, and the government comes down and forces people to pay a certain fee or do a certain thing to open their business. Anyways, for the people on YouTube, by the way, give us a quick like if you're enjoying what you're seeing.
Or dislike
if you're interested for viewing. Or dislike, but hopefully a like. It helps us with the algorithm. Yeah, dislike, better if you just leave, maybe. You know, no offense. The algorithm can stay good. If you don't like, because, you know, it's free speech, whatever. But, yeah, hit that like. It will be pretty dope so we can get our out there. We see a handful of people out there, so that's dope. Appreciate y'all, man.
All right. So any final thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, so, you know, we also have to realize that we make different distinctions matter in the history of someone matters. Kyle had no prior criminal history, right? So that's important to note, right? That's a
good
fact.
point. Good point.
So even if both of them would have got charged, and it was the judge that dismissed the gun charge, but you have to realize when you hear two cases, it's usually more than meets the eye. I'm not protecting Kyle. I'm not taking one side of it. I'm just giving you the reality of the justice system. And again, if we want to make a change, we do it at local, federal level politics. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like these cases can be interesting, but yeah.
And don't buy into the narrative because all they want to do is have a public outrage. They want more rioting. They want more burning and looting. They want this because they want an undertaking. They want what they want when they want it. Does that sound familiar? That spoiled brat that you have, that you're trying to constantly have to get the belt out. I mean, these days you can't even whip your kids, right?
Yeah.
Like we were whipped when we were kids. So they want when they want it. So that's as simply as I can put it. Something else happened at the end. I don't know if there's any correlation, but something pretty traumatic happened in Wisconsin. It seems like that state is all over the place. It appears that they stopped the video there so they don't show the actual car plowing through the crowd.
Right here, plow through all these people sitting and protesting right there.
You see that though, right? Yeah.
Oh snap!
So that's probably why. And from this top-down angle, this is pretty intense. And the car kept going. That's pretty crazy. Wow.
Oh my god.
Well, he picked up some speed and look, that looks intentional again.
This is insane. Yeah, this is insane. This is a top-down footage. Yeah. So, and just over the weekend, there was a person who drove his SUV through the crowd of a Christmas parade. Which, I mean, you brought up an excellent point. Christmas parade now. I mean, that's pretty early, but whatever. But yeah, this maniac, this lunatic, drove through the crowd.
Wow. As we were as we were walking back in between the buildings, we saw an SUV. It was eyewitness testimony. Just put the pedal to the metal, zooming full speed along the parade route, and then we heard a loud bang, just deafening cries and screams from people who struck by the vehicle. And yeah, it was something about this person who was also, um, I think something happened last week where he, I think, ran over his girlfriend or something like that. Don't quote me exactly, but I was reading something that sounded similar to this case, which that's going to be used in court.
He was already out on bail. This
Oh.
person, he was out on bail, and he was doing this exact. He did this exact crime, or allegedly, he still has to go through court and still has to, present the case. But nonetheless, he was released on bail and then out in the street to do it again, but this time on a massive scale. 5 people right now, as we know it. 5 people dead, 40 injured.
Damn, that's a lot. 5 dead. 30 people dead.
Kids right now, as young as 3 years old, on life support right now. And this is crazy. Like, what do you do? Okay, what do you do? This person is apparently a black person. So what do you do now? You don't put him in jail because he's black and he didn't have access to resources and his life is rough. So what do? How do we handle? How do we have corrective action here, folks? Anyone who has any thoughts on that? We're curious. We're up in arms.
He has a long rap sheet. Not a good person. Again, this is why we need to be careful with assuming that someone's innocent, because you might be right one situation, but if you use that same logic to a case like this, right, that it's almost, again, it's not in trial yet. I don't know the arguments on both sides, but from what I know so far, it seems like, man, you did something like this last week, or a few weeks back to your girlfriend. Now again with kids dying and all that, but yeah, there's some crazy people.
It's pretty atrocious.
More of a sociopath from what I see.
Yeah,
more than Kyle. But just to go off your point, Felicia. But yeah.
So Sheriff Clark had some comments. Again, he was the sheriff in Wisconsin, and he has a thing or two to say about this incident.
A press conference put on by Waukesha, Wisconsin Police Department. They spoke, as well as a doctor, and we want to get reaction with us is former sheriff in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Newsmax contributor David Clark, and Jessica McBride is also with us. Sheriff Clark, I want to start with you. This suspect, he's got a long rap record. I mean, and he was out on bail for $1,000, and obviously he's facing a number of counts. I want to get your reaction to that.
He's out on bail for $1,000. So there you go. For attempting to do the very thing he just was doing right now on camera.
Yeah, this is incredible. I went through his criminal history today, 47 pages long, for heaven's sakes.
Some very serious
offenses. This guy is not an anomaly. He's kind of the norm for the Milwaukee County criminal justice system. He plays patty cake with these individuals, career criminals. This guy was a walking, ticking time bomb that unfortunately exploded, not in the county that was responsible for this, not that it should happen anywhere, but that it had to happen in an adjoining county at a Christmas parade, for heaven's sakes. Like I said, this is an indictment on this soft on crime criminal justice system. These judges are not held accountable. The court commissioners, the prosecutors are not held accountable for this sort of thing, and they need to be. So that's what I want to focus moving forward, that this is not an anomaly, that there are tens of thousands of people among us walking around like this guy here, and these people need to be locked up. We need to use jails and prisons as a crime control tool. We've gotten away from it. Everyone's bought into this racist criminal justice nonsense and this idea that our jails and prisons are full of black men. Apparently, we could have found room for one more here.
And that couldn't be well said, Savory. Do you agree?
Yeah, man. He's attacking the narrative, man. This is not about picking sides because he's saying something I like. I like that he's attacking the narrative that you can't challenge. So every time I hear systemic racism and these things on the news, I don't mind elaborating with people, but most people look at you differently if you don't agree with that narrative, which means they have a monopoly on this idea on how the system works. So he's challenging it. I like it, you know?
They don't care to look at it differently because their experience trumps the national reality, right? What they experience, what they personally experience, trumps everything, all the statistics, all the truth, all the facts. It doesn't matter. Why? Because one racist cop said something to me that, all of a sudden, now I viewed the entire society of that. Or because some of my white neighbors actually voted for Trump and they're really crazy. They hate black people. So what? So what? It does not reflect the truth. The truth of the matter is the cops are not out there to put black people in jail. That's not their target. That's not their job. Their job is to enforce the law. And they don't do it with white gloves. They're not your concierge service. They don't go out there and say, how do you like your toast? That's not what they're there for. I don't have a problem with the police. Have you ever had a problem with the police? Did you get stopped? Did you get frisked?
Look, I've had a problem with the police. And this problem wasn't because I was a criminal, right? It wasn't because it was literally simple. We had no respect for authority. I remember this day, bright as day. I remember we didn't do nothing crazy. We were literally late night. We came from a party. We was chilling. We were driving back uptown. My boy got pulled over. Well, actually doesn't speak to me now, but that's a whole different combo. And I remember his first stop. He looked at him. He's like, damn. He told him straight up, here we go with this bullshit, pulling us over again. so I'm young. I'm not gonna lie, my heart was beating a little bit because I'm like, damn, bro. I just feel like we could have handled this much better. Say we could have just. But anyways, we ended up telling him to chill out, and it worked out well. And my boys, I think Noel was there too, my boy. And I was there in the front, and then the driver, I won't name him, but it just got escalated more than it needed to. And I think we're not taught to respect authority. Authority is almost like a word that people are looking at it like, oh, you ain't gonna be no punk. We run the streets. Culture again. Culture.
What authority? What authority? There is no male in the home. What authority?
But again, I had no experiences. I was never a criminal. I had one experience. I got pulled over for speeding. And I was chilling. He let me go. I told him, yeah, this is a rental. I had a Mercedes-Benz rental. I was mad hype. I was out in the West Side Highway.
You bougie.
And, I remember I was going fast. He pulled me over, and I was like, officer. I literally was like, look, officer, I didn't know how fast I was going. I'm just in a Mercedes-Benz, He actually laughed and let me go. So I was like, that was pretty cool. But yeah,
I had several run-ins with the law. I won't even get into the first run-in that I had, but I actually got pulled over with you. I got pulled over with you. Huh?
You a criminal?
No, I'm not a criminal. I got pulled over with Savory. We were on our way to a bachelor event, a paintball event. You remember that for Peterson's wedding?
Oh.
Just before? So we're going there. I'm speeding in Jersey. I have no clue. I was tailgating, according to the officer. Anyways, as they stopped us, as I went to go reach for my insurance card and all that stuff, there was cigars in my drop box, and he saw it. And because of that, he said, okay, do you have drugs in the car? I said, no. He says, okay, do you mind if we search the vehicle? I said, no, go right ahead. I don't have any drugs in the car. So in order to do a search, he had to ask me to exit the vehicle. Savory and everybody else stood inside the car, and they did a search, and that was that. They didn't go deep. They didn't go into my trunk. I wasn't going to allow it without a warrant. But you can search where... No, I was not. Moment. No.
But if you had drugs, you have reason to be like, fuck the police.
Yeah. The only time I ever was afraid was when a police officer pulled up from behind me and grabbed a knife out of my pocket. I had a knife clipped onto my jeans. I didn't know. I wasn't privy to the law that if you have a knife clipped onto your jeans, that's actually illegal.
I was living with you at that time.
Yeah.
You told me the story when you came.
Yeah. I had no idea until I was educated by a defense attorney. He told me the knife laws in New York is kind of sketchy, it's kind of weird, but nonetheless, that is considered illegal by having it there. And they have to control the situation by grabbing the knife. They have to control you. They have to arrest you and grab the weapon because, again, they could put themselves in danger or somebody else in danger. and I was educated on
As
that.
an officer to do that, to just take that knife from you, so that's good.
I almost got into a tussling match with him. It was almost like a little fight. We almost got into a fight. He was in uniform and everything, but he was behind me and I had headphones on. So I have no clue if he was presenting him. So, hey, stop, police. Hey, stop. You know what I'm
maybe
saying?
he was. Right? Yeah,
He was. I wasn't able to hear him. So, anyways, nonetheless, my experience don't speak for everyone else's experience. Neither does Savory. It doesn't matter. No one's gonna care because yours is gonna take precedence over the facts, over the reality. Until you get over that oppression of the mind, you won't understand where we are.
Yeah,
we're gonna look crazy to people. We're gonna look crazy.
Experience is gonna cover the reality of the system, right? It's only when you look at the law, the cases, and how they run out, which we don't like to look at, that gives us the reality of the law. So
Everyone has told me the same thing. They don't know what drugs I'm on, what I'm sipping, what's going on. Some's wrong. I'm crazy. Oh, I can't understand how you have this mindset. You know how I have this mindset? I'm not oppressed in the mind. That's why I've stepped free from the race hustling. I've removed and recused myself from this nonsense that is being taught to us in our schools, that's being taught to us in our society, the hatred, the bigotry that's being taught to us, passed down through our parents. This is no indictment on our parents directly, but I'm saying there's hatred
that becomes a norm. So it's not a
exactly.
hatred thing. It's just the culture becomes a norm, and every culture has negative and positives. And they also relate to the ideals of the country, if you are abiding by them or whatever the laws. It's a lot to it, but culture is important. But on that note,
yeah, let's do it.
Let's leave some people talking about what you sipping on, right? People wonder
Sipping
what
on
you
facts,
sipping on.
baby.
Let's sip on some facts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we try to leave people with some interesting facts. It's not our job to do the breakdown of what you think of these facts, where it leads you. It might lead you to think completely opposite from us. It might lead you to lead closer to what we're saying. But at the end of the day, we like to leave people with some final thoughts, cool facts. So let me read right here some of the CDC statistics on assault, homicide, and things like that, right? Look at homicide. By the way, when I'm reading this is not an indictment. These are just the facts, guys. What we do with them, so don't assume that somebody's giving you facts to drive in a narrative. These are just the facts. We might have an episode where we get deeper into this, but until then, let's break some of this down. Homicide. According to FBI, all right, so I made clear. According to the FBI statistic, African Americans accounted for 55.9% of all homicide offenders. Right? So I'm gonna put a pause there, right? Not to just hone in, but look, that's more than half, and we only make up 13% of the population.
That's crazy.
Right? So that's a big disparity that we don't like to talk about. Anyways, without breaking it down, let's keep at it. That's in 2019, by the way. With whites at 41.1, but they make up 60-something% of population, and others at 3.0, and then they have the breakdown, right? Assault. All right, let's look at the assault right here. African Americans are highly overrepresented in murders and gun assaults. The disparity in arrests is smaller. Is smaller for the most common form of assault not involving any weapon or injury. According to the FBI, in 2008, Black youths. Look, this breaks my heart, bro. Yo, on a serious note, stuff like this breaks my heart. So again, here at Drinks with Nobody, we're sharing this to actually follow up on a conversation and invite conversation, not to just attack a narrative. We might be thinking differently or like me, but check this out. According to the FBI Uniform Crime Reports, in 2008, this is an old statistic. I had a 2019 was the other one, but I don't know if they track this same statistic the same way now. But 16% of the youth population accounted for 52% of juvenile violent crimes, including 58.5% of youth arrests and 65% of robbery. Black youths were overrepresented in all offense categories except DUI.
Wow.
In all. Right? That's like a sad. I'm not doing that to celebrate. I'm not happy of that. We're sharing this so we can know, how do we tackle and honestly speak about this problem? Or are we going to let politicians tell us this is irrelevant and we can't speak about it? It's important.
There's nothing that we ought to do. It's something that the state has to do. Stop arresting Black boys. Just look the other way. Just let them commit their crimes, right?
Not going to change anything, though. You get what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man. So hope you guys enjoy.
That is some great facts.
Yeah. final breakdown of that. But Macho, give us a quick breakdown. Again, let me say this. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube. Macho's going to take us down a quick overview of where you can find us and who we are again before we let y'all go.
And that's right. That's right. Follow us on Twitch at MachoFix88 and at Savory_edition. Be sure to also follow us on Twitter. Same handles there. Be sure to also follow us on TikTok. We can take these big ideas or these concepts, these abstract concepts, and literally fit them in 3 minutes. We don't even need that much time. The left may need a lot of time, but we don't. How about that? You could also follow us on Instagram. We're building our community there. Discord, so that even if our live ends, we continue the conversation in our Discord. In case you miss any of our previous broadcasts, go on the YouTube, type in Drinks with a Nobody, hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, so when we go live or when we drop something, you're aware of it. So Savory, what exactly are we trying to do? Why do we want people to come watch us?
Look, I'm gonna tell you exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to really keep this simple. We're trying to build a community because we're gonna share stuff that not everybody might like, everybody might not agree, but that's the whole point of this. Because in the future, as we're planning different events, we plan on having different voices, different ideas, not only for us to challenge them, for they can challenge us, man. And hopefully we coexist together. We don't just bash one another, but we create this community of different ideas, man. So
Have
if that's
meeting
you,
of the
come join
minds,
us
as they say.
Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like Macho said, meeting of the minds. Come join us. Don't miss it. Go catch up on our other podcast as well, man.
See you tomorrow.
Later.